I told y'all I was going to drive this truck out of here, and that's what I intend to do because I'm a glutton for punishment. So, let's get busy. I reckon we'll start with jacking the front of the truck up. Let's see if we can get them brake drums broke free. I'm going to try something a little different this time. Instead of beating on them with a big old hammer and prying on them with pry bars, I'm going to use something different. If you've seen the first lockjaw video, well, you'll recognize this. It's a chain wrench. That's what I broke the motor free with in lockjaw. I'm hoping I can wrap that around the drum, put all 250 pounds on it, and they'll break free. Will it work? I don't know. Are we going to give her the old try? Yes, sirree. Let me get this 9,000 pound jack out of here. Get that truck jacked up. Oh, goodness gracious, this thing weighs way too much. Ooh. I seem to have forgotten my big impact, so I get to use the breaker bar on these little fellers. Oh, well, my goodness. I think I can use a regular ratchet on them. Huh. I did spray them down a couple weeks ago, so that might be why they're breaking free so easy. Whew. This is going to take a while here. I'll be back when I get done. Well, 17 years later, and I got all these lug nuts off. I might go take a break. That wore me out. All right, let's get this wheel off here and get it out of the way. Come on over there. This is full of mud. Get out of here. I think what I'll do now is try to cut the wheels where I can get that chain wrench on here and get it out here where I can get a hold to it. All right. See if we can get this thing on here like that right there. Just like that right there. Let us see what happens. Probably nothing, but we're gonna try. Wish I'd have brought a big old pipe slide over that. Give me a little more leverage. Yeah, I ain't sure anything's gonna happen, but y'all might see me fall on my butt again. Ooh. Oh, what broke? Did my chain break? It sure did. Well, huh. Alrighty, so much for that. I guess I'm gonna whoop on it with a big old hammer. Well, let's see if I can use a pry bar on it. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. Pretty sure I'm just bending the studs. Let me take this dust cap off and the nut. And we just sort of beating on it. It's the only thing I know to do. All right, I'm probably fixing to get a little bit violent with all four of these drums, trying to get them off. So you might want to close your eyes for that. But let me say this first. When I have tried to pull these off before, you know, I've got suggestions on cutting the little pins that come through, and you know, that's what holds the brakes on. Well, physics states that that's not going to happen, especially if your shoes are stuck to the drum. You got a little piece up here that holds them on too, and you know, up here where they meet, you got a little piece slides on, and the springs go in front of that. Physics say you're not going to just pull them off. You'll have to bend that little piece, and that's what I did on the Country Squire station wagon. I believe it was the driver's front. You know, I got really violent with it, pried them off, and that's what happened. It bent that little piece. That's the only way you're going to get them off that way. So like I said, I'm gonna get violent, and well, you may want to close your eyes. Alrighty, let the violence begin. Start small, work our way up. It is moving, so it's not, you know, just completely stuck. So that's a good sign. I don't know if I'm bending the backing plate or if it's actually coming off. I think it's coming off. Yes, sir. Cool. One side anyway. Let me work on this other side. I think I need to straighten the wheels back up. Let me do that first. Where's my hammer? Oh yeah, I believe I got her coming. Oh yeah, look at here. We just about got it. Look at there, look at there. All right, let me show y'all what I'm talking about. Actually, let me show you this first. That brake lining, well, it stayed with the drum. So yeah. Anyway, this piece right here, and then all them springs too, hold the top of these shoes on. There's no way that's going to slide right off. It just ain't going. Physics says it's not going to. You have to bend it, and I did. You can tell that's bent a little bit, but you know, it finally let go of the drum. Anyway, I'm gonna move to the other side after I catch my breath and see what it holds for me. Well, I'm on the driver's side now, and I'm working with a limited amount of room, but I'm still trying to get y'all a shot where you can see what's going on. Let me ask you this though. I try to show a lot of the work that I do. Of course, I'm not going to show every little thing because, you know, the video would be 2 or 3 hours long. Do y'all like to see the work? All of it? Some of it? Do you not want to see any of it? I don't like videos that just say, well, I'm doing this, and then they cut to the next scene and it's done. I like to see some of the work. I don't want to see all of it, but anyway, y'all let me know. What do you want to see? I believe this here is going to cooperate a little bit better. Come off of there. Look at here. I might not even have to get in there and straighten the wheel up. Come over there. Oh yeah. Look at there, look at there. Oh yeah. I'm just very glad that these came off this easily. That's wonderful. Well, I had to run back to the house and get the chainsaw. There's my little Poland piece of junk. These trees are in my way. They got to go. That little bunch right there, well, I can't get that wheel off. They're in the way. And this in here, she's growing up through the bumper. That's got to go too. Just wait till you see the other wheel. That's gonna be a job. Anyway, before I start the old saw up, yes, I know the chain is dull. Yes, you'll probably see me run it in the ground, doing it on purpose. I don't want any of these stumps sticking up because, well, y'all have seen me. I'm clumsy enough as it is. I don't need no little stump sticking up to trip over. Anyway, let me get this saw started up and get these trees out of the way. It's out of the way. Throw it up through the trim. Come on, little baby. Well, that had some weight on it. That's got my saw pinched. Dang it. I might get the jack out, I guess. Darn it. Alright, there we go. There we go. Whew. Let me continue cutting. Come on, little buddy, get out of my way. Come on, little buddy, get out of my way. Get out of here. Here's the one I was telling you about a minute ago. I believe that stump may be grown into that tire, that wheel. I ain't sure yet. Let me get these out of the way. We'll get this jacked up and get that wheel off maybe. Come on, buddy. Oh, crap. Oh, there you go. There's a big rock right there. That hurt. Oh, yeah. This jack ain't got enough hind end to pick it up. But it is stuck on that. So, well, what shall we do? Well, I'll tell you what I'm gonna have to do. Let me get the saw back out. I'll just go to cutting it out of the way. Well, I got the stump, most of it cut out of the way. Get out of here, roly-poly. Get on. And, well, right here, there's wood and down to here, I believe. So, from here to here, I need to cut that out some kind of way. I'm gonna try to use a chainsaw. Probably gonna destroy that chain, but that's all right. I'll go buy another one. Get on out of there. Get on out of there. There's just a little bit still holding it. Oh yeah, look at there. Let me get on the jack, see if it'll come up. Oh yeah, look up there. Coming on up. Coming on up. All right, let's get this wheel off and get a look at these breakages. How many spiders do we have in here? Lots and lots, it looks like. Alright, let me get this here wheel off. My cardboard is in the way, I think. Oh, my knees. Oh, my knees. Actually, I may have to go higher with the jack. Now will it come out? Oh yeah. We got her out now. Get out of here! Now comes the fun part. Yeehaw. Well, the drum is moving up here. It is not moving right here. So, this is going to be fun. Really? Really a lot of fun. Let me whoop on that a little bit. Yeah, I don't think the brakes themselves are stuck. I believe it's just the drum stuck on that axle right there. Well, fellas, she ain't coming loose today. I got people coming to help me start on the shop, so I got to call it a day on this. But I'm gonna come back over and spray that with some Kroll oil, and hopefully by tomorrow we can get that drum on. Well, I brought my flamethrower back with me today. We're gonna heat the center part up, see if we can't get it broke loose. I'm tired of prying on this stupid thing. Let us whoop on it. Well, my jack, I just now noticed, my jack is leaked all the way down pretty much. That is just, well, that jack, I believe I'm gonna throw it away. Oh, look at here. Oh, we broke loose from the center anyway. Let me jack that thing back up. That's aggravating. Well, my darn cardboard's still on fire too. What in the devil? Might be a sign that I just need to go on back home. You come off of there, you son of a gun, you. Ta-da! I'm gonna leave them on. They got all new brakes coming all the way around from Rockato. Hopefully they'll be here in a couple of days. Well, I'm glad that finally come off. I just want to show y'all this. It's got some helper springs, add a leaf, whatever you want to call it. They're probably going to come off in the near future. I've got a plan for this truck. Yeah. Well, there's a dog. Hello, dog. Where did you come from, bud? Come here. Alrighty, come here. How you doing? Come here. Well, okay, we'll see you later. Anyway, where was I at? Oh, I've got a vision for this truck, and well, it don't involve them helper springs. They'll be in the way. I think y'all like what I got planned for this truck. Anyway, let me go to the pasture side and see if I can get that side broke loose over there. Excuse me, fender, sorry. Excuse me, fender, sorry. Come on there. Let me try heating the whole darn thing up then. Oh, that's an air been stubborn. Good gracious. Woo. I'm off of there. Woo. Finally. All right, I got all the drums off, and I'm gonna be waiting on parts for another day or two. So I'm just up here piddling now. And y'all remember, I believe cylinder 7, the lifter is pretty much gone. It's collapsed. You can see the play in the push rod there. Well, I know it's the lifter, not the cam lobe. Well, I'll just show you. The push rod, it goes up and down. So that tells me the cam lobe is fine. What I would like to do, and this might sound crazy, but you know, I do crazy stuff sometimes. Pull that push rod out, make it, you know, a little longer, make it adjustable where I can take all that slop out and get that cylinder firing again, because I'm pretty sure it's, well, I know it's missing on that one, and I'm pretty sure it's only sort of hitting on another one that's popping back through the carburetor. And I'm gonna try to find it here in a minute, you know, pulling the plug wires off. Anyway, that's what I want to do to that, and I think I'm gonna do it. Well, I just found another vacuum hose that was hiding from me, and she's sitting there idling on her own now. I ain't got to have a piece of heater hose propping the throttle open, so that's pretty good. I don't have the vacuum advance hooked up because I don't have a fitting, and look at their fuel pump, it's trying to pump. So the fuel pump may be okay. Well, this brake drum, this is the rear one. I believe the front may be a little bigger, but I mean, it barely fits in this lathe. That might be a 1/4 inch clearance. Anyway, all I want to do is hit it with some sanding paper. Hopefully it's going to clean it up a little bit. Good enough to, you know, get it home anyway. I feel a bad spot, like something stuck to it. Let me try something. Oh yeah, she fitted pretty bad. I'm gonna clean it up a little bit more, and it should be just fine, just enough to get it home. Yeah, I think that'll do. All right, I got all the drums cleaned up. They'll be good enough to get it home. That's about all I want to do out of that right now. Still waiting on brake parts, so as soon as I get here, well, we'll go put them on. What I'm going to work on right now is making that push rod, that adjustable push rod I talked about. Here is a factory push rod, 9.5 or a little over 9.5 inches long. This is all I got, is 1/2 inch. I'll probably have to turn the ends down to you know, make a ball end where it'll fit in the lifter and the rocker arm. Anyway, what I'm going to do, of course, you know, it's got to be 2-piece. This here, I'm going to turn it down and put threads on it, probably 5/16. And then this part will have internal threads that'll screw down on that. Of course, you know, it'll be, like I said, ground to a ball end on either end. And then that way I can adjust that push rod to whatever length I want. Well, the Artiz, it screws together right there like that, right there. And it's a little over 9.5 inches long, screwed together. And I probably don't need maybe a 1/4 inch adjustment. I'll just have to wait and see when I get over there. Once I figure out where it needs to be, I'm probably gonna cut some off of this little short piece so I can get a jam nut in there, because it probably will turn on me. Now you might be wondering, well, what could happen, with this if that lifter decides to pump back up? it can mess some stuff up. I don't think the lifter will, but it might. Well, at the very least, it could bend and break this. It could break a rocker arm, open the valve too much, and cause the piston hit the valve, bust the piston, bend the valve, mess the head up. Yeah, it could do some damage, but I'm willing to take that chance. I'm not gonna leave it like that. If it'll make it home, then we'll pull that back out, because the motor's probably gonna be rebuilt at some time anyway. So let's go back over to the truck, put this in, and just see if it runs any better. If it don't run any better, I'm gonna pull it back out. But anyway, let's go see what it does. It has turned chilly here in Tennessee. Plus the wind's blowing pretty good today. So that's good. Anyway, let me get this valve cover off of here. Let's get them rocker rods out of the way and get that push rod on. Come on now. Oh, huh, this is interesting right here. You know what? I don't think we need my homemade push rod. Look at there. The end of that has just been worn away to a little nub. That's what the problem is, right there. I will be. Alrighty, I'm glad to see that, because I was a little worried about my homemade push rod, causing havoc all through this motor. So, well darn, I'll have to go back to the house and get the one of the push rods from the 390 out of the station wagon. Yep. Get up here, Mr. Leaf. No, Mr. Leaf, you have to leave this motor. Mr. Leaf, get out of this motor right now. So you little son of a gun, you cannot stay in this motor. Bye-bye. All right, upon further inspection, I got to look at this little socket on this rocker arm, and she feels pretty rough. That in there feels really slick and smooth. Well, this in here is grabbing. Well, she's wore out from that push rod being wore out. Plus, it's chipped right here. So, what I did is I went to the house. I got a push rod and the whole rocker arm assembly off of the 390 out of the Country Squire station wagon. So we're gonna put this back on there. I bet you money, that right there's why this thing was parked. That push rod, it had a miss, so they just parked it. Couldn't find out, figure out what's wrong with it. Well, we just did. So we put that all back together. I bet you she runs like a brand new one now. I'm learning about these old FE motors. The push rods. Ow, you son of a, y'all have no idea how many times I've hit my head on this hood latch, and it just, well, it angers me. That's all I'm gonna tell you. Anyway, what I was saying is I've learned a lot about these old FE motors here lately. Push rods, they don't have holes through them like a small block Chevrolet. It oils, there's a bigger hole where you gotta lift this little plate up here. I don't really know what that's for. You get that out of the way, and there's a bigger hole right here. That's where all the oil comes up. I don't know. I think the rocker arm assembly is the same on either side. I'm not real sure, but that's how an FE motor gets oiled up here to the top end, not through this bigger hole right here in the head. All right, let's get these rocker arms on here. I'll have to buy another rocker arm for that other assembly. We'll put it on the 390. I got to thinking the other day, you hear this thing sort of popping, pitter-pattering It's most likely this cylinder, because it's the exhaust valve that's not working because of that push rod. So it has no way to exhaust. So when that intake valve opens, it's it's going to try to pop back a little bit. All right, now we got that back on. Let me get the gasoline tank hooked up. And I meant to bring the hose for this vacuum advance and completely forgot it. I'll have to remember that next time. All right, let's see if it'll start without any help. Lifter cap is gone. I'm gonna let it sit here and warm up. I forgot I got a temperature sending unit. I should have put that on. Tell you what, let's shut it off. I'll put it on. Losing water. We're losing water, man. All right. The wire, I'm gonna do this, is pretty naked there for about 4 or 5 inches, so that's good. I don't have any tape, so I can't tape it up, but y'all remind me, and when I go back to the house, I'll get some tape. We'll fix that. All right, let's fire this thing up, let it sit here and warm up, and we'll see if that, what is that? That carburetor, what in the devil? It is leaking terribly, huh? I don't know if that throttle shaft is wore out or where that's coming from, but it's just, that ain't good. Anyway, I'm gonna fire it up and let it warm up. We'll see if that temperature gauge works now. Uh-oh, too much timing. Uh-oh, the devil? The horn just blew. This thing acts like it's hydrolocked. I wonder if this thing is sit here and flooded. Let me see. That gas tank feels a lot lighter, so I don't believe the float is holding. That's why we got all that gas there. I believe it's hydrolocked, and it probably will never start. Sounds pretty good. I'm gonna idle it down a little bit now that it's hitting on all 8 cylinders. You know, it kind of sucks that I spent a couple hours making my little adjustable push rod, but in all honesty, I'm glad I didn't have to use it. I was planning on rebuilding this motor, but I don't know now. I mean, she's sitting there burning like a kitten. It's got a little bit of a clack over here every once in a while. I don't know if it's a lifter. I don't know what that is. But the whole thing, I'm telling you, it runs pretty doggone good. Well, the temperature gauge seems to be working. It's coming up a little bit, so I guess that sending unit was bad. Oil pressure has, well, it's just quit. Won't do nothing when you rev it up, so I may have knocked the wire off. I'll go look at that here in a minute. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Alternator's charging, but I can't figure out what's going on with that oil pressure though, and it's done got to where it don't want to sit there and idle now. I believe I'm gonna pull that carburetor off, take it home. We're gonna go through it again. Well, I just pulled the carburetor off, gonna take it home and go through it. I believe this gasket may be leaking right here, so I'll pick up another gasket for it. And she's pretty wet down in there, so I'm gonna say it's flooding. So we'll go through that carburetor and hopefully that'll take care of that issue. I just got done going through the carburetor and it had a little trash in it, and I put a new needle and seat in it. So hopefully that'll take care of that problem. But I was looking at this push rod. This is what come out of the 390. This is what is in 360 also. This is the one that got wore down to a nub. See that there? Well, look at the difference in them. It may be kind of hard to tell, but those are not the same. This push rod, I don't believe belongs in that motor. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's, you know, a couple of different kinds for these motors, but if I'm not mistaken, the ones in that motor look just like the ones that's in the 390, and that's what this is right here. Well, fellas, I am still waiting on brake parts. That's the bad thing about ordering from Rockato. You know, the shipping is, well, sometimes it's good, sometimes it ain't so good. Anyway, I got enough stuff right here to do all the back brakes, so that's what I'm gonna do. So let me get it jacked up and we'll get started on that. This is the first time I've actually looked up under this truck, and well, firstly, that is a very, very tiny, I mean a little drive shaft. Carrier bearing, looks like it's been in the mud for 39 years, and there's just a pile of leaves and grass. I don't know if groundhog or giant rat, I don't know. This water ain't done set the truck on fire though. Anyway, let's get busy on these brakes. Let us get busy. Well, I'm very unprepared this morning. I didn't bring a whole lot of tools because, well, my brain just doesn't work right. I'm telling you, when I tell you I got the memory of a stump, I ain't kidding you. I did bring a torch, so I'm gonna heat that brake line up. Hopefully we won't break the line. Hopefully we won't bust the line when I step on the brakes after I get everything put on. But anyway, let me see if I can get this loose. I'm gonna let that cool a minute, and let's see if we can get the bolts broke loose on the, what is that called, a wheel cylinder. Come on, baby, break loose. Oh, look at there. Oh, yeah. What about the other one? Are you gonna break loose? Ooh, oh, yeah. That is awesome right there. All right, let me see if I can get this brake line loose. I completely forgot to bring any line wrenches, so this probably is not going to end well this morning. No, sir. She ain't a budging, and I don't want to get too rough with it. So this is great. Wonderful. I don't even think I got any vice grips. Let me go see. Well, I do have vice grips. Look at there. I ain't as ill prepared as I thought. All right, it broke loose, but the line, well, it's still attached to the nut. So, of course, I didn't bring any P&B blaster. Well, that would have made it too easy. So, let me work with that, see if I can get it loose. Let me hit it with some more heat. Well, she ain't going to break loose. I might run to the store, I guess, and get some P&B blaster. I really don't feel like redoing all these darn lines at all. Well, I went back to the house and got my P&B blaster, and it's proving not to help any at all. I didn't think it would. And on the way there, I blew a hose, radiator hose, top radiator hose on the truck, so that's good. Well, that line ain't gonna break loose, so I think what I'm gonna try to do, I don't think it'll work. I'm gonna go ahead and pull all the brakes off. Maybe I can pull the wheel cylinder out here and spin it off of the line. I doubt it's gonna work, but well, I got to try something. I'm trying to keep this halfway organized, so maybe my little pea brain will remember how it goes back. I gotta straighten that back out. See how we bend it, getting them brakes off, get that drum off. Let's just do this. Oh, fun, an emergency brake cable. Alright, there we go. I'm gonna leave these intact best I can. So I'll remember how they go. Now, pretty sure this ain't gonna work. Ain't no way it's gonna work. No sir. I want to make a new line, I guess. Will you please break loose? Well, y'all ain't gonna believe me unless I show you. But that finally broke loose. Oh yeah. Luckily that brake line broke loose finally. And I got the wheel cylinder put on. Got half the brakes put on. Fixing to do the other half. I'm not gonna record this. It's just, well, it's just so boring brake work. When I get done with all the brakes, I'll be back and we'll go do something else. Well, y'all know I'm not a Ford guy, but I think that's how them brakes go on. Self-adjuster down there, I believe everything's right. Fix to put the drum on. I got to sand this because I tried to put that drum on, it didn't want to go on. So I got to clean it up, get them adjusted out a little bit, and then we'll go the other side. Well, I got the other side done on the back. Only thing I got to do is adjust it to get the drum on it. But I broke the brake line right there. I'm probably gonna just go ahead and run new brake line all the way across the rear end, just because it looks pretty bad. I got to change that hose too. And then I'm waiting on parts. Well, here's a little FYI for you. This is the rear brake hose. Well, I was trying to get this fitting loose from this block, and well, there was no hex on it or anything. I was like, well, what kind of crap is that? Well, I got the new one out of the box, and I see you replaced the entire little distribution block. So now you know. Well, here's another FYI for you. Here's the bolt that bolts this distribution block to the rear end. Well, see that hole all the way through it? This also serves as a vent for the rear end. So now you know again. Well, I'm up here at the front now and getting the wheel cylinder and the old hose off. And well, is it good? When a white powder comes out of your wheel cylinder, I don't think it is. So we're going to replace that. But when I was taking this line loose here, well, you can see there's no fitting on the end of that line. It twisted. And the distribution block, well, it's way up under here. And if it was, you know, up on a rack or on a lift, I could get to it, but can't right now. So I'm just gonna bend and twist that till I got enough, and then I'm gonna put another end on it, flare it, and we'll call that good for now. All right, I'm on the passenger side trying to get this hose loose from the line here. I took my little torch and heated that line up, and it broke loose and it's not twisting the line, so that's wonderful. But here's your little tech tip. If you're gonna heat up brake lines like that, just be very careful, very mindful that you could have hot brake fluid come flying out of this hose. You know, it could bust this old hose, or when you break that fitting loose, you could have boiling hot brake fluid come flying at your face. So just be mindful of that. Well, I guess we'll work on this old truck again today. It feels like I've been working on this thing for an eternity. Hopefully, maybe tomorrow, we'll get this thing out of here. I don't know. We'll just have to see. Anyway, this morning I've made me some brake lines for the rear end. Got the rest of my parts in. It's wheel cylinders, master cylinder. Of course, I already had my shoes for the front. I got the wheel bearings cleaned up this morning. I ain't too worried about that because we're going to go to disc brakes on the front eventually. Might even go to an A-arm setup. I ain't a fan of that I-beam stuff. Anyway, let's get this stuff on this truck. All right, let's get busy and knock this out real quick. Son of a gun, I can't get up. Get up. I'm so fat. Old. Also had to make one of them this morning. I lost one. I ain't got a clue where it is. Yeah. Get up in there. In case you're wondering, I'm not putting any self-adjusters up here because, well, I didn't want to spend that $37, $38 for something that's going to be on here for just a few minutes. Get on there. There we go. I think it'll be all right. Like I said, I'm just trying to get it home. I reckon we're ready to put the drum on. So I need to get these bearings on. Get some grease on it. Like a brand new one. I gotta put lines on the back, and then we gotta do the master cylinder and bleed it. Brakes will be done. I just want to show y'all something real quick. I got this other side jacked up. Got my line flared, fixed to put the brakes on. Well, I just happened to look under the truck. Remember yesterday, talked about all the leaves and whatnot under this truck. Was wondering what did it. Well, there's a giant hole in the ground, so I think we got our answer. Old groundhog did it. I had one dig under my foundation of my house 2 or 3 years ago, and you ought to see the digging that crazy fool did under my house. He finally left though. Anyway, let's get these brakes on. Well, the front brakes are done. I just got done putting these brake lines across this rear end. So I guess I need to get out from under here and go up front, and we'll put the master cylinder on now. All right, let's get this little fella out of here. Get us a new one on. Bleed the brakes. Then I gotta find some tires. Then I think, well, I probably need to fix a hole in that radiator because this has got a pretty good leak. Probably end up pulling it off, taking it to the house and brazing that hole up. But let's get this off here first. What size are you, little buddy? You are not a 5/8. You're probably a 9 of the 16s. Oh yeah. All right. Where's my bolt? Get my bolts in the hole. I'm pretty sure I don't have any brake fluid. I'm about to go to the house. Well, fellas, one of my lovely assistants just came over and we bled the brakes. Look at here. Boy, we got all kind of brake pedal right there. Oh yeah, we got brakes now. That clutch pedal got me worried a little bit. There ain't a whole lot of movement there. I guess we'll find out here in a little while. I think now what I got to do, I'm gonna pull this radiator out and take it home and try to braze that hole up. If not, then we may just have to JB weld it or something. Anyway, let me get that out. Let me get the shroud off of it first. There's one screw. This is not going to be fun. They're flathead screws. Who in the right mind would think that that would be a good idea? Who? All right. Now I got 4 bolts I got to get out. Get this out of here without beating and banging it up. Oh yeah, what's got me? What in the devil is that for? Well, I was going to braze this radiator up. I'm telling you, this has turned into a mess. It had one tube that had one hole in it. And if I'd had any sense, I'd have JB welded that little hole and been done with it. No, I had to get the big idea that I was going to braze this up. Well, you can see this big hole here now. These tubes are so brittle. It's just, well, you breathe on them and they just go to cracking and breaking. And then you try to pull the fins back out of the way to get to the tube. Well, that makes little pinholes in the side of the tubes. And, well, it's just been a big mess. So I finally ended up getting the JB weld out, and that's what you see now. This is the second coat I put on it. Hopefully we won't have any leaks. I'm going to check it in the morning. We'll see if we got any leaks. Also, oh, by the way, I've been working on this radiator all day. And I just now saw this right here. You know what that is? It's a spare key. Well, here we are on what I'm hoping is the final day of working on this old truck sitting right here. I got a few odd end things to do. We're going to start with putting tires on the thing. I got some tires a few minutes ago. Let's get this thing up off the ground finally. Let's get this little feller jacked up. Get up on there. Well, we got the old feller up on tires. That's a pretty good accomplishment. I guess now I'm gonna put the radiator back in it and do my little odd and stuff. I ain't gonna make y'all sit through that. So let me get that done. I'll be right back. Well, the radiator is back in. Takes a little up of water. I checked it again this morning. Still had a couple of small leaks, so I put even more JB weld on it. So let's see if I finally fixed it or not. I probably didn't. I don't think I got enough water either. So I may have to go back to the dad blame house. I can't imagine that, huh? Yep, I ain't got enough water. And I still have a very small leak. I mean, they just pop up. I mean, I don't get it. We're driving the sucker home. I don't care. I don't care. We're driving it home with a leaky radiator. Y'all remember how I said the other day it didn't have much oil pressure? Well, it wasn't showing any actually. Well, I got an oil pressure sending unit. I'm gonna put it on it. I can't get to it until I get the power steering pump out of the way. So that's what I'm doing right now. Alrighty, because now I can get to this feller here. Ooh! Chinty locks it is. Alright, let's get the neuron in. I don't get it. I swear I don't get it. I've got 2 bolts in, and then you can't find the 3rd hole. I finally got that bolt in. Let's see if I can get this top one in now. Alright. And I meant to put a fuel line on that fuel pump while I had that out of the way. Well, I forgot. I done told y'all I got the memory of a tree stump. Tell you what, that's got a fuel filter on it. Let me get under and get the fuel filter off. Make sure it ain't all nasty. I'll pull that hose off at the same time. Well, here's a fuel filter. There's no filter in it. It was full of gas though, and I dropped it as soon as I unscrewed it, and it's all over my cardboard, so I'll never be able to use that cardboard again because 40-year-old gas, well, it just stinks. Anyway, let me get this cleaned up a little bit and put it back on. I'll fill it up with gas. And we'll hook a hose to the fuel pump, run it over into a gas can, and we'll see if we got a fuel pump or not. All right, I got me a fuel system set up. You see that fuel line right there, that gray one? It's hooked to the fuel pump right there. It runs up under the truck, all the way back here to the bed. Got me a gasoline tank set up. It ain't got a whole lot of gas in it. I'm gonna have to go get some. It's got enough that we can test it out. I'm gonna leave this hose unhooked right here on the fuel filter. And when we start getting gas out of there, well, we got us a fuel system. All right, let me fill this carburetor up. Then we'll go in there and see if it'll start. Well, the fuel pump definitely works. It's just pumping out of that bowl, the fuel filter bowl right now. I don't want to run anything through this old nasty filter, so I'm gonna run back to the house and get me a new fuel filter and put it on there. And that noise you heard is a fan hitting this broke fan trail. I might bring some duct tape. See if we can't tape that up. All right, we got me a new fuel filter on. I just filled up the power steering. I'm gonna start it up and let it warm up. And whilst it's warming up, I'm just gonna go over it. We're gonna check the water. I still ain't got nothing for that darn vacuum advance. I'm gonna try to rig something up with that. Just go around and check everything. Got some junk in the back I'm gonna get out. And then we'll be ready to get this thing out of here. I don't understand why the thing don't want to start aggravating. Fuel pump's definitely pumping. Got gas just pouring out here. It's a brand new needle and seat, so somebody tell me why it's not holding. I would love to know that. Sure would. Well, I pulled the top off the carburetor and I don't see anything, wrong, other than right here. I don't know if y'all can see it or not. There's a little piece of wire right there, and I think it's supposed to hook underneath the seat. It wasn't hooked, but I mean, I don't see what that would do. It's got a little foot that holds it down right here. I held it down and ran it, and it didn't flood. So I don't know. I'm gonna put it back together. The float level was a little low. I brought it up some, but I ain't got a clue why it's flooding. Well, I got the carburetor back on. I went back to the house and I finally remembered to get the vacuum advance line. These fittings on this vacuum advance, they're weird fitting. It's like the nut and ferrule made in one piece. The oil pressure line on the lockjaw was the same type of fitting, so that's why I just didn't put a regular fitting in there. Anyway, I got vacuum advance now. I'm gonna fire it up, let it warm up. I'm gonna set the timing, check the water, do all that kind of stuff. I got the power steering filled up. We'll see if that's gonna work. And this thing is coming out of here in the next few minutes. I don't understand why it won't start without some help. I don't understand that. Don't make no sense. I'll tell you what, this little truck right here is really starting to get on my nerves with all this little stuff. Really getting on my nerves. Let's put a normal person's clamp on here instead of that garbage that was on it, and maybe it won't leak. All right, let's try this again. Ain't got a clue why I won't sit here to run. It is just, well, that's so good. I just don't get it. I don't know what's going on with it. Well, fellers, 2 or 3 hours ago, I was ready to drive this thing out of here. And it's just, well, it's went haywire. Ever since I hooked that fuel pump up, it won't hardly start. It won't idle at all. And it'll run about half throttle, and that's it. I have no clue what's going on. I've done run the battery down and took it home, charged it. I'm gonna give it one more try. And if it don't act right this time, I'm gonna have to pull the carburetor back off and go through it again. I don't know if we got trash in it, but I mean, I put a brand new filter. So how did the trash get in it? I don't know. Anyway, let's give it one more try. All right, let's see what it does. Well, I ain't got nothing. Oh, I think I'm off over here. Let's put it back on. I don't get it. Well, I don't know what's happened, but it won't idle. I think what I'm gonna do is take this carburetor off, take it home, and I guess I guess we'll be back tomorrow. Fellers, I just got done going through this carburetor again, and I don't see nothing wrong. There's a little bit of trash in the acceleratory pump circuit, but other than that, I didn't see nothing. I gave it another good cleaning. No trash anywhere. What it's doing is it won't idle now. You know, I had it idling pretty good. It's acting like it's running really rich and idle. I even turned the idle mixture screws in all the way, and it didn't help. My only theory is this. It's got to do with this part right here. This is power valve. Some of them call it an economizer. Power enrichment is what it is. There's a hole right there above my thumb. Let me show you. And that lets gas go through there, up around this stem, and it goes up into the ventures. It's bypassing the main jets, basically, to give it more fuel when you stomp on it. Well, on the bottom side here is a diaphragm. When you're sitting there idling or cruising, there's a vacuum on the bottom here, and it's sucking this little stem down, keeping the valve closed. Well, when you stomp on it, you lose vacuum. That opens up, lets the fuel flow. If this diaphragm's bad, or if the stem is sticking, which it's a little sticky, that's going to let it run rich all the time. I think that's what's going on. I put a new one in it. Let's hope that's going to fix that issue. As far as this accelerator pump, y'all have heard me complain about I got to give it a drink of gas every time to get it started. You can sit there and pump a throttle all day long, and it's not going to start. I've noticed that the accelerator pump arm goes down really slow. I mean slow. There's no liquid in here right now, and you know, see how fast it's moving. I put water in it a minute ago, and it was moving just probably about that speed right there. But I was getting a good squirt of water out the squirters. So what's going on with that? I don't know. Anyway, it's done got dark, as you can see now. So we're going to have to wait till tomorrow. Fingers crossed. Let me cross them really, really good. Fingers crossed that we put this carburetor back on that truck and I get to drive it home tomorrow, because I'll be honest with you, I've been fooling with it too long and it's starting to get on my nerves. Alrighty, we're back again. I already got the carburetor on, got the battery in it. I got to fill it up with some gasolines, and well, I guess we'll fire it up and see what it does. Alrighty, I done got the carburetor filled up. Give it a drink. Let's see what she does. still ain't gonna idle. That idle screw right there is cranked down as far as it'll go. And once I kick it off fast idle, it won't idle at all. Well, fellers, I don't know what it did, but it finally started idling. It may be kicked over on fast idle, and it will not run unless the choke is about 2/3 of the way closed. There's something wrong with that carburetor, and I can't figure it out. I got another one at the house, but I think it's probably junkier than that one. So that there's gonna have to do for now. I got to clean the windshield off a little bit, and down there at the end of the road, there was a couple of deputies sitting there. I don't know if they were doing radar or waiting on somebody trying to catch them. Well, I'm gonna go back through there and make sure they're gone before we take off of this old heap of junk. Because I guarantee you, as soon as they see me, they'll pull me over. Anyway, let me get stuff ready. We'll get this thing out of here. Well, this old truck's been sitting here 39 years. Let's get it out of this hole. I did check the clutch a minute ago, and it does work. The shifter, well, it leaves a lot to be desired. too after sitting 39 years though. Let me check the brakes real quick. They're not bad, but it's making all kind of noise. Let's give it a shot. That may be something in the bell housing. Darn fan. Let me see if I can't do something with it. I fixed it. Let's try this again. Get on, yellow jacket. Get on. Alright, you son of a gun. Get out of here. She ain't gonna stay running, that's for sure. Tell you what, old girl got some get up and go. Them brakes sound rough. Goodness gracious, they sound rough. bad shape. Got quite a bit of valve train noise now. Fixing to lose the drive shaft. I don't know if we're losing a drive shaft or a wheel. There's something on this left rear that's making a terrible racket. We ain't got but a couple miles to go. Maybe we can get it on. Well, I don't know exactly how this happened, but I'm about to lose this wheel. See the lug nuts? Everyone's backed off. You ain't got a clue why. Let me go check the other side. Other side looks good. Let me see if I can't find a lug wrench some kind of way. Well, I got somebody coming with a 4-way lug wrench. I'm gonna try to tighten them lug nuts up. I don't know why in the world it did that. I ain't got a clue. This thing has started missing on about 3 or 4 cylinders. You ain't got a clue about that either. This little trip here, well, it ain't working out real good. We're leaking antifreeze like crazy. This old truck, I'm telling you, it's wore out. It's gonna need a whole lot of work. That made me out of breath. Ain't got a lug wrench. All I got's that right there. They're tight enough. All I got's 2-3 more miles to go. Maybe we can get it home. Let's see if this old hunk of junk will start. That old motor's getting louder all the time. Well, I said I was going to drive this whole thing out of there. Here it sits in my backyard. I tell you what, that was an adventure from the beginning to the end. And I don't know what's happened to the thing. I had it running good, and it got to where it went idle, but it was still rev. And while I pulled out on the pavement that first time, you know, I goosed it, and she had a little pep. Now it's missing on 2 or 3 cylinders. I have no clue what's happened. I ain't got a clue why that back wheel loosened up. We'll have to have new studs and a new wheel. It watered the holes out on it. Anyway, it's just a rough old truck. That's all I can tell you. She needs a lot of work. I guess that's why I got it. You'll see old Dumas, the truck, not me. You'll see old Dumas here on the channel from time to time. We'll get her ready for the road for sure. Anyway, appreciate y'all watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you don't mind, hit the like, comment, subscribe, share it with friends. And until next time, go do something. Blurp, blurp.